Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video, comment down below. Let me know where you guys are from. And so let's get right into this, man. So if you just keep looking at what's happening to these Houston rappers, I mean, you got Zero and Trae the Truth and Sauce Walka. So it's three of them, man. And so what's happening is that it seems like it's a lot of feuding going on, or it's a lot of problems. You know, a lot of Texas people trying to put their foot down in the ground and basically just be, everyone's trying to be the main person, right? And just show how powerful or strong they are, right? And so everybody's just stepping crazy, and a lot of people are trying these Houston rappers. I mean, if you see what situation that happened with Sauce Walka, and it's like now no one knows what happened. At first, people thought Sauce Walka was the good guy or whatever, and then now they think he's the bad guy. And then when you look at the situation with Trae the Truth and Zero, everybody was like, man, what? Everyone thought Trae the Truth was the bad guy in that situation. And so when you see people from Houston commenting and they're saying exactly how they feel about what, that the city's rocking with Zero and everything like that, everybody's got their own thing going on. And it's like a lot of heads are butting, and it's like, oh, if you ask South Walker, they'll probably, he says he's the number one person in Texas. And then people in Houston saying, oh, Zero is the number one and this and that. And so it's just a matter of time, and they just need to come together, because it's a lot of the OGs. It's a lot of the people who paved the way in Houston. I mean, you got to think about what would Pimp C be thinking about this? What would DJ Screw be thinking about this? It's like these Texas people, they got to come together. They used to ride deep. They used to be moving around with a lot of people in the squad back in like the early 2000s and everything. They were keeping up the South and stuff like that. And so what y'all got to understand is that everything's changed. A lot of things are changing in Houston. Now you got all these rappers, and they should be all together and not fighting or anything like that, and moving with like a whole group of security that does what they do, right? And so now we look at it, and it's like everybody is trying to basically separate themselves, and that's not good for the fans. A lot of the people in Houston, they're like, man, why can't they just get along? Like, why did Trae the Truth have to do that to Zero? You got this whole thing stemmed from family issues. A lot of people are saying that they're cousins, or it could have been from J-Ton and going to get locked up over that bottle of Walk, an act that they found under his seat, under his legs in that car ride when they got pulled over. Well, he was with Zero. And so it could have been from a lot of different things, but y'all got to look at it though. They're like taking out their differences and everything on the main stage. Like, you see how they painted the picture of Sauce Walka as like with that family that came out and spoke out over the dude that allegedly tried to snatch Sauce Walka's chain. They're saying that he didn't even get his chain snatched. That guy lives there at the same place that Sauce Walka was coming out, and they happen to just have some type of altercation where somebody had their strap and someone else had theirs, and people pulled it. So it was basically like an intimidation type of thing, right? Like almost like a standoff over a turf, or over territory, or like over, going into your apartment, and that, like, who's this guy? They probably didn't think that he lived there. And so the family came out and spoke out, and they were trying to say, hey guys, the situation is a lot different than what people are saying. This whole Sauce Walka thing is not actually what it seems like. The news just went and ran with it. A lot of the big media outlets came out and ran with it, saying that Sauce Walka's chain almost got snatched, and that's why they did what they did. But they only thought that because Sauce Walka is, the celebrity in the situation. So when he came out and went live on Instagram, it was easier for him to paint the picture and the narrative of what happened, because he's got the bigger following. So whatever he says on his Instagram, on his live, when he came out on video outside, like right where basically the whole thing happened, right after getting let go by the 12, the people who came and responded to the whole scene, and they covered up the dudes on the sidewalk. And Sauce Walka, was like a couple minutes later went live, and he tried to say about the whole situation about somebody tried to grab the chain, and they tried to snatch the chain, and they got their brain snatched. Those are his words exactly that he used. And so when he said that, it's like the people on the other guy's side couldn't come out and say anything because it's like they don't have the followers he has. They don't have the media attention. So whenever Sauce Walka goes out and says something, it's like the news is going to run with it just simply because of the fact that it's going to go viral instantly. And so that's why they basically went with that story. It was easily believable, and then made Sauce Walka look like he was in the right. But then when the people came out and spoke on the situation, then it's like, oh, wait, so Sauce Walka shouldn't have did what he did. Technically, they should have tried to just talk this out and let go because the dude actually lived there. And so now people in Houston are like, man, what is going on there? Like, why is all this craziness happening? And so everybody's just being more careful because of the whole situation that anything can happen to certain rappers. And I guess it's just happening to Houston rappers now. But when you look at the whole situation with even Finesse Two Times and Jay Prince Jr., like Jay Prince Jr. is out of Texas, and they just had a controversial deal where they put Finesse Two Times and Moneybagg Yo back together, but they're, technically shouldn't be back together because Moneybagg Yo ripped off Finesse Two Times. So it's like, how are all these, everything is just passing through Houston right now. Somebody from Houston always has something to do with what's going on right now. And so that's basically what you could get out of this. And so what you got to understand is that these are famous people. They're always going to have attention on what happens to them and what's going on. And so, but just don't be surprised when, like, if Sauce Walka has to get pressed now or anything like that, or if people, the next thing that happens could come out of Houston. It could be somebody like Peso could get in an argument. It could be anything like that. And so y'all got to just understand that you have to open your eyes and just look at the facts that they're saying that it's one thing, but another thing happened, just like the Zero situation, right? And so they're saying at first that Trae the Truth didn't throw any swings or anything like that, and it was just J-Tom. But then TMZ released the footage, and everybody from Houston actually went and reported from what was they seen on scene. And it turns out that Trae the Truth was that they're hitting and kicking Zero. And so at first they tried to paint this picture like they're the good guy in this situation. That's what it seems to be. And so they must have some type of publicist, some type of assistant that goes and tries to give some type of narrative, you know what I mean? So they got to protect their image, I understand, but why is it that at first they were saying that Trae the Truth wasn't the one that jumped him, and then after you look at everything and the facts came out and the video came out, Trae the Truth was there actually swinging and drop kicking and trying to curb stomp Zero. And then the same thing with Sauce Walka. They tried to say it was over a chain snatch, and now the facts came out and the Ring doorbell footage picture was released, and it showed that the dude actually lived there and he knew the code to get in and everything like that. And he wasn't just trying to ambush or what, as they're leaving, he's trying to get in. He lives upstairs. Anybody would know this, man. And so now everything became a crazy mess, and so we got to clear all this stuff up. And so another video is going to come out with a lot of breaking news, so just make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay tuned, and I'm going to catch you on the next video.